Oh, it's a magic Monday. Goodness gracious, welcome everybody. June 29th as we approach the end of the month. Can you believe we are almost half a year into 2026? This is incredible. For those of you in, Canada, you want the occasional French thing. All right. Who else is out there? We got a lot of you out there this morning. Big list of names. It's great to see you. Hopefully you saw today's video. Otherwise, please check out today's video. I would truly appreciate it. We got to get those numbers up. Got to get past these rookie numbers. We got to say thank you to Ruby Hoo for gifting a Culture Casino membership. Thank you very much, Ruby Hoo. We also had something green happen early on in the show. Cat Sleeve said hello over on the green machine. We got Ms. Pig Cafe as well. And, of course, Keely Chow. Roll Tide. Who else is out there in the world? I think Loki's folks showed up. Thanks for being here. Along with Barry the Music Man. Scott Shook in the house. A few other folks. I'm having coffee. Iced coffee. And Georgia Peach, good morning. The amazing Tony Piacente gifted 10 Culture Casino memberships. That's right. I'm rocking the Animal House t-shirt this morning. Nothing with a collar. Who else is out there? Dr. Jill is. And our favorite polar bear, Snortopupus Cuber. Hello, hello. Oh, it's going to be one of those good days. We got a lot of stories. 17 in all with a bear story at the end. It'll be good. God sees everything. Does anyone know where Culture's streaming from? What time zone? I'm in CA and never get to be on live. Well, technically, I'm PST. So I should be the same time as you. We got another chat here from our friend Jedi Master for $2 in Culture Casino cash. Thank you, Jedi Master, saying, have a great day. Supergirl sucks bad. Yes. Yes, it does. It was awful. I feel bad for anybody who had to see it, like me. I feel bad for me. I got an itchy nose. I don't know what I did. Yeah, got a stuffy nose, too. Lots of wind blowing. Always destructive. Especially to the trees. Who else is in the world? Well, Tony Piacente is. Says, Gunn has done to DC what Kennedy did to Star Wars? I think yes. That's okay. So did, what's his name over there? Feige. Kevin Feige did the same thing to Marvel. It was just done. Hey, Cynthia Carter, good morning. Saying, good morning, kids. Going to the kitchen for coffee. Should be back for the show. Well, I'm glad. I hope you are. Bonnie Gamester out there. That's a Bonnie Gamester out there. Ms. Mim. Crazy white boy. Look at all these amazing people. Sip of coffee for the working man. Randall Orser is out there all the way from Canada. Good to see you, Randall. Hope things are going well in the Great White North. It's a beauty way to go. Take off, eh? All right. Who else is out there? We got a few other folks. Got to say hi to Canoles. Afternoon, all. That's right. On the East Coast. Correct. And if you happen to be across the pond with the amazing folks like Juliet. And, of course, we got Commander Ed Straker of Shadow. Ms. Pic Cafe, who speaks French. The Bad Cap. Good morning. I hope you had a great weekend, my friend. It's good to see you. It truly is. Oh, my goodness. Who else is out there in the world? And more folks like Corporeal Being. Hello, hello. D. Bud Martin. He's everywhere. And, of course, Leif Erickson. Good to see you, Leif. Jay Price. What's up, my friend? I love that avatar picture. Freedom Seeker out there. Good to see you, Freedom Seeker. And once again, a big shout out and thank you to Culture Sugar Daddy, Tony Piacente, for 10 Culture Casino memberships. Look at all those names go green. Donovan Bradford, what's up? And Jonathan Conroy reminds you to smash the like button, like the smash button, and all those things in between. All right. Razorbird and the first Dragon Queen. But now, 6 minutes starts now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are and whenever you're watching. Thanks for checking out the 6 Minute Daily. We have a lot to talk about, not a lot of time to do it in, so we're going to have to hustle. In fact, let's talk very quickly about Toy Story 5 posting $70 million in second weekend, only dropping a little over 50%, did really well. Supergirl didn't fly. Nah, $38 million on opening. I think it's going to be reduced to $37.5. I think my prediction will be spot on. I think it'll be a good time. We've got Supergirl writer Anna Nogueira, who's responsible for such critically acclaimed things like the shelved Batgirl. Also the writer of Woman of Tomorrow, her very first major film credit, because, well, she did a short film that was like 7 minutes long. And then she did the Batgirl script, punched that up into non-existence. And then we got this. And supposedly she's working on Wonder Woman and something else. This is a real problem. Teen Titans? Goodbye, DC. Hey, Freddy's back. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 taps Gary Dauberman to pen the script. That might look pretty good. Want to say thank you from the Magical Girl debut, everybody. You guys are going to want to check that out for $199. Thank you for that one, Magical Girl Pro. You can check that out over on Floral from Under a Rock Show. That'll be the very first world premiere. Thank you for that. We got Michael outbigging Oppenheimer as a biopic, if you prefer. It's the highest grossing biopic of all time. Congratulations. Awesome stuff. Box office Supergirl sputters overseas. Didn't do well over there either. Only $30 million. Did 38 million here in the States, 30 million overseas. China ignored it. I would say DC's Guns universe, done, over, dead. Jackass Best and Last limps to a 1.9 million internationally, but here locally, where its audience was, about 10 million. Not terrible. Jonah Hill's cutoff comedy with Kristen Wiig is unreleasable. This film, can't find anybody to distribute it. It's currently unreleasable. It was originally promoted as a classic comedy. And, it's been compared to Step Brothers, Clueless, and Trading Places. I'm not sure how. I don't know. We got lots of stuff out there. We got some super chats to get to as soon as we're done with the stream or this portion. The news portion, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. We got Elon Musk's retweeting Citizen Vigilante. So, yeah, I reported this in the video I did for this morning, but thought I'd bring it back. German banned this film. A lot of places in the EU really didn't want people to realize, you know what? People are as frustrated enough now in life. They might want to fight back against the mass occupation of their countries. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour have made up, and they reunite after Stranger Things as a father-daughter spy in Netflix's new series from Jack Thorne. Of course, Enola Holmes 3 just entered the marketplace. But, yeah, it's, let's see, what's it called? Doesn't say what it's called yet. I can't find it. It's untitled. Well, that's why. It's from Jack Thorpe. I don't know if this is interesting to anybody else. I just find it odd that as young as she is, she still looks like a 35-year-old woman. I don't know what happened. CNN staff braces for possible Bari Weiss era. Oh, they are terrified of this woman. Yeah, Paramount Warner Bros. Merger nears, and it's getting approval everywhere. It's kind of hard to knock this one down. Mark Thompson, CNN's editor-in-chief, has told Paramount officials he will not share oversight of CNN with any other executive. Well, then I guess you're out of a job, you douche. Anyway, is what it is. Moving on, of course, we've got Rob Lowe revealing a St. Elmo's Fire sequel. I don't know how that's working, but a lot of these people are still alive. Need to work with them quickly before they're not anymore. Then we got Bill Maher getting played by J.D. Vance on Real Time. He admits he may vote Republican in 2028. I wonder why. why. Saks officially emerges from Chapter 11 bankruptcy with less debt and a new name. And good for them for sticking it out, reorganizing. We've got Trump threatening 100% tax on European imports if countries impose tax on digital services. I'm with him on this. Yeah, if you are going to tax something you have no control over, well, guess what? You're not going to get a piece of what we control, which is the popular culture. Your citizens are going to be very angry with you. Millions drop Obamacare health coverage after subsidies expire and costs rise. Well, I wonder why. U.S. economy expanded at a solid 2.1% pace after it's been revised. Why are they showing a Costco-like snack bar price sheet here? That's very weird. Very, very strange message. And finally, Iran attacked Bahrain and Kuwait following U.S. strikes and threatens to halt talks. And they're the ones who started it in the first place by hitting a ship. Here's a big problem. A lot of people over there that didn't get the message. Stop or things will get worse. I guess they voted for get worse. Finally, a bear decided to flee a garden after it was scared off by a cat. Look at that cat. Cat didn't want any of that in their yard, so the bear, he was out of there. That's right. You say cats aren't good for anything. Of course they are. Just willingly picking a fight with a bear. They also are really fast. They can dodge, duck, dive, dip, dive, dodge. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball or a bear, I guess. Anyway. All right, folks, it's good to see you. Let's get to these super chats that came during the stream that I couldn't do anything with. So let's get that done. Super chat. Stop. Super chat. Oh. All right. Let's see. Jedi Master. The Magical Girl. One Magical Girl Pro. There's a lot of Magical Girls out there, so we're definitely going to want to see the debut of this over on Floral from Under a Rock. The First Dragon Queen for 5 says, just reviewed 1,155 episodes of the longest anime ever at 1 minute, 30 seconds of Evil Sesame Seed. Man, you're getting closer to 2 minutes, aren't you? He's fighting for those bears at the moment. Hugs to all. Hugs to you, dear. And, of course, our friend Daniel Alpine in the chat for a very generous $20 super chat saying, my family is disappointed in me because I keep reacting to things I can't control, which is the Hollywood industry. I acknowledge that it hasn't made the best decisions in recent years, but I don't want to die. You're not going to die, my friend. What you will do, my friend, is talk to somebody. Talk to somebody outside of your family. Reach out, talk to somebody, tell them that you're feeling like the industry that you are dedicating your time to may not exist in the future and how to process that. I'm going to try to continue to tell you that I believe the industry is going to exist. I really do. I think animation, especially two-dimensional hand-drawn animation, is always going to have a place. In fact, it might have a more significant place than any of us imagine. One of the things is, and many people have described it recently, and I agree, it doesn't feel like it has a soul. The AI stuff doesn't feel like it has a soul. The stuff that's hand-drawn, the stuff that's creatively created, even if it's CGI, like Pixar's animation, it can feel not just realistic, but like it comes from, somebody inside. And that's good. And I think sometimes, whether it's entertaining or not, some of the stuff that you see in AI doesn't deliver what those sensations are. So I honestly, I'll just keep saying and disagree with other people that might have a different opinion. I think it's going to be okay. But Daniel, I really need you to reach out to, I need you to reach out to somebody and talk to them about this, because this is one of those things that I think is in your best interest, because we want you to be around for a long time, and I want to see you in the chat every day. Okay, so there's that. Where are you gonna find the KB Hug Store? Right here for $5. Good to see you. Says, not that SG didn't suck, but it's funny that the now official Skydance-owned Warner Brothers girl boss didn't enjoy the usual protection from the you know what? Access Media, no. No, it didn't. In fact, they kept running things that would definitely guarantee that it wasn't going to do well. Variety reran the attack against Christian Dad's story. Our friend Marvin Montanaro over at That Park Place pointed that out. Correctly. I don't think Gun's going to be around much longer, guys. I said so in the video I released today. If you haven't seen today's video, go watch it. It's a complete breakdown of the box office, but mostly Supergirl. I cannot reiterate how sad that film was. I wanted to be surprised in a positive way. I was not. I was not. Knowing full well what the incapability was for the people who put it together. I promise you, if Daniel or somebody creative had worked on it, it might have been better. It wouldn't have been girl power. It would have been just a superhero film. That's what we need. We need heroes in our superhero films. And Supergirl, I don't think would kill the bad guy. Your rate specialist for $1.99 says, greetings and howdy to culture and the culturians. There you go. Good to see you, Rate. Thank you very much for what you're working on. Daniel Alpine says, again, as a follow-up for 10 more generous dollars, I've hoped and prayed that Hollywood would get better because it's important to me and our culture. I agree with you. That's why I'm on top of it all day saying this is terrible, this is good. I think you need people who call balls and strikes. And look, I'm not going to be hyperbolic about it. I'm just going to call balls and strikes. That's what my job is. So AI is not the solution because even with a human element, it has no soul and creativity, 100%. Exactly what I said a moment ago. You're on the right track. And that's the thing. There's no creative element. At work, you can give a prompt to an AI. You can create a thing. It will do it. Sometimes you get positive results. Some people here get positive results, including Putin and Irate Specialist and Release the McCracken and all the great meme folks out there. Sometimes we get good stuff. Most of the time, it's even based on other stuff. For example, Putin just did a music video that that Putin keeps refining that I just absolutely love because it's wrecking my friend Roland. It's so good. But again, it's based off something else. It uses face replacement and a few other things. But it conveys so well. And again, there are purposes or useful purposes for AI, for sure. Great for research, honestly, especially for finding sources. So, but as far as outright direct creativity, I don't think it's capable. I think you need a mind at work, and I much prefer hand-drawn things. I've always said that. So, like you said, be mindful of that, Daniel. And again, I'm not kidding. Talk to somebody. It'll make you. It'll make you feel better. You get another voice in your ear that tells you like it is, and that it's going to be fine. Seriously, reach out and talk to somebody. You can often get help for free, just a phone call. Dean Krantz just became a member. Thank you, Dean. Or did you upgrade? What happened? I thought you were already a green name in the chat, my friend. How wild is that? You wild and crazy guy. Gold member upgraded. Thank you very much, Dean, on upgrading to gold. I'm going to try and do a behind-the-scenes video. And I'm going to start on roof repair for the greenhouse. All the materials finally showed up last night at 7 o'clock. I had a migraine. Yay. Cat Slave, what's going on over there from the Green Machine with a rant saying doctors have complimented me about my cheerful attitude about my broken arm. I reply that it was my humerus that I broke. Well, my goodness, I didn't know you broke your arm, but that's funny. It was your humerus that broke. That's good. That's so good. I love that picture, by the way. Look at that. Look at that kitty cat. Anyway, sorry, easily distracted. Another generous super chat from our friend Daniel. Says, I'm sorry, I'm trying to listen to what my family and friends and my therapist, you've been talking to somebody, that's good, but my anxiety and fear is too powerful, and I have OCD. Well, so do I. I just want to leave no, 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 no. Yeah. First of all, none of that is something to consider, my friend. Again, those are the moments you need to lean heavily on your family, friends, and the person that's helping you. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't think it's as dire. Okay, all right. I like having you here every day, so I'm counting on you to show up every day in the chat, and I will keep telling you the things that are good, the things that are bad, and the things I don't want you to worry about. Because they're going to need real human creators out there. I'm going to tell you right now, AI could not do what the Minions and Monsters movies is going to be coming up with. That had to be a team of people on computers doing computer animation with a story in mind, with a central storyteller that was giving it a heart and soul. Now, Shrek, on the other hand, I'm very worried about, but that's a different conversation. So, Deeple, the beautiful Deeple, with a rant from the Green Machine says, da, da, da. Superhero films need heroes. The decade plus of subversion and anti-heroes have run its course. Be inspirational, gun. In 2026 doesn't seem to be the one to be able to do it. Nope. Maybe Marvel can with Spider-Man and Doom. Well, Spider-Man's coming from Sony Marvel. And Doomsday is coming from Marvel. Doomsday looks very dystopian and sad. Brand New Day feels like heartbreak. I don't think we're going to be feeling great after seeing either of those films. But don't get caught up in that. When you look at what's been done recently versus what's been done in the past, just know things will only get better. Howard Jones actually said that in the 90s. Things can only get better. Go listen to that song. Where you gonna find a KB Hug store? For five, says D 1994. Don't make a permanent decision. Oh yeah, Daniel. Don't make a permanent decision for a temporary problem. Indeed, 100% agree with this, Daniel. We are all here to talk. The movie industry isn't the end all be all. John 3:16, kid. 100%. Thank you, KB Hugs. I couldn't have said it any better than you did, and that's a great message for Daniel as well. Look, right now, I'm going to say the person that goes. If you've seen anything from the Annecy Animation Festival that just was happening, if you've seen anything at all, you know that hand drawn animation's not going anywhere. People are still using it. People are using it effectively and doing great stuff. Art requires a creative hand. It does. And sometimes, like I said, there are people here that are in the chat that know how to use AI effectively. But I truly believe that the actual creators are required to make good art. So, yeah. That's why I don't want you to be disheartened, my friend. I really don't. And thank you, KB Hugs, for that. Is that hat from Drunk 3PO? Well, why, yes. Yes, it is. Canadian Spider-Man. I've got everybody's hats. Lucius Nature Triste, my chance to say things in Latin, says the so-called creators in Hollywood are convinced of their brilliance and superiority. They won't change. Well, we bring change to them then. We start studios. That's what I'm trying to do, guys. That's the whole point. The relocation to Tennessee is to build studio facilities. I mean, it's got to start somewhere. It's got to start at the ground. It's got to start at ground level. That's us. I'm going to have a place for creators to show up and make their projects on not a lot of resources. I'm going to provide the facilities for a reasonable price, not Hollywood prices. And I'm going to let people do their stuff. That's my job. And I'm sticking to it. All right, let's get to some member chats because Ms. Pick Cafe doesn't want me to miss them. Sean Carter in the house today, celebrating, holy cow, 12 months. Thank you, Sean. Wow, happy birthday. Should we refer to the head of DC as James Dunn? Yes. Yes. That would be great. It might be accurate. That's the thing. Might be accurate. We don't know. All I know is the best argument for keeping James Gunn was if Supergirl was successful. Superman wasn't profitable. I'm going to keep saying that until somebody shows me a balance sheet. But Superman wasn't profitable. Putting something on your own streaming service doesn't create revenue. It just moves one thing from one place to the other side. Somebody in the chat caught that. And I think myself, Valiant Renegade, and even Odin have made that point on our videos at some point in time in the last few months. Just saying specifically, moving money from one pocket to another pocket doesn't make more money. It just transfers responsibility or liability for success or failure to another division. The project itself still failed. Who you blame is, the other part of that equation. That's a different challenge completely. So let's just do that. We got a follow-up from our friend Donovan Bradford, who's been here for, holy cow, 10 months, almost a year, my friend. Thank you for that. Saying Robert Eggers' Werewolf trailer just dropped today. I'll have to check it out. I got a first look of that and was kind of concerned. So I hope it's good. I'll go check it out later today. I may give you my thoughts on it tomorrow, or maybe I'll do a video. It depends. And of course, I like monsters. I like monster movies, so I'm hoping. Speaking of monsters, King of Monsters out there with a celebratory super duper member chat. 7 months of membership. Thank you for that. With the woo culture. Let's freaking go. By the way, I still love that emoji with the fish. Amazing, neat. Thank you for that. King of the Monsters. And finally, the sugar daddy himself, Tony Piacente, says, after 16 months, my friend, thank you for all your support. What do you think? Who do you think should lead DC next, Culture? Christian Toto, Gary Buechler, Yellow Flash. Man, if Mike were still alive, Clobbering Times, if he was still alive, I'd say him. Nobody loved comic books more than that guy. But it's got to be somebody that loves the books and wants to tell those stories. And I'm talking about Golden Age, Silver Age, even Bronze Age, in the before times, right? Before we got to, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. It needs to be somebody that's passionate about it and passionate about creative, and it might even come from the comics or the older comics industry, right? Or hey, how about Gabe? Gabe would be great. Talking about the new comics industry, he'd be great for DC. He's working with Dean Cain. Do you think Gabe wouldn't mind doing that? But they're not. They're always like, trying to innovate, think outside the box, but they never go outside the box. All the problem is they only work with the people in the box that are in the bubble. And that's darn silly, honestly. Our good friend Dean Krantz, who just upgraded his membership. Thank you, friend. says, I nominate Ben Affleck for the next DC hit. Actually, that might work because he does love the material. This is actually this is a good call. If you want to think inside the box, I understand. Because it makes Hollywood nervous when you go outside the box. But yeah, he loves the material. He's got great script writing chops. There's no doubt about that. He and Matt Damon have put together some great projects. Project Greenlight was those guys trying to kickstart Hollywood. Get the next generation in there and not rely on the dinosaurs we have now, like Spielberg, or the compromised people like J.J. Abrams. Crazy stuff. But no, I think you're right. I think it would be better for Affleck's health. Keep him away from the sauce. Maybe keep him away from any extracurricular activities that aren't in his health or his best interest. And that, honestly, that's what I want. I want people to live their best lives, and I don't want them to be tortured by things that, again, they can't control. But yeah, Ben should direct a Batman series. I think that would work great. By the way, that animation, that looks really good, if you guys have seen that. Dragon Brick says Affleck is good as long as he stays away from his kryptonite. J-Lo, yeah, well, how many times do you have to get kicked to the curb by the same lady? Blow up a solid relationship that he had. Brad Pitt has the same problem. He picks the wrong chicks. His picker is broken. Gory-eyed beasts in the house. Same story as the Flash movie. They should have just used the CW Supergirl in the movie. Yeah, look, Benoist she's still got it. She could still be Supergirl easily. They should have used, what's his name, to play the Flash instead of Ezra. Because he's better than Ezra. Oh, I wanted to use that joke so badly. Started watching a Filipino show called The Muse of Section E about kids in the lowest section of a private HS. Think warthogs. Okay. All right. Jim Lee. Not the worst idea. Not the worst idea. What's in the box? What's in the box? Yeah. Thomas Bowman. What a great line. Warner Brothers needs some gun control. Jimmy is not ready to do anything without adult supervision. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Klobby, I miss him. Walter Tomaszewski, so do I. It was always fun to hang out with Mike. He's a good guy. Respect to Nick for keeping that going, too. So I know a lot of people had mixed feelings and emotions about it, but it's done in the right spirit. Yeah, Culture wears a lot of hats. Yeah, but I've never seen him in a white horse hat. Is it because he doesn't want his new glue order overlords upset? I'm just asking questions. Semper glutine libero. Well, I've never been a part of Big Glue. I'm gonna have to find a white horse hat. If you want to ride, don't want a ride horse. Chimera. That's a great way to spell that. Another James Gunn flop. Can't believe he greenlit that script and still put it in theaters. Are we watching? In theaters are watching months before us? I'm telling you right now. Look, if this was the 10th cut of the film that we saw. It might be the 11th because I know they had to take 25 minutes out of it. Could you imagine another 25 minutes of that stretching over 2 hours? It was an hour and 47 minutes long. And it was too long. It was too much boring. There was more boring. There was more awfulness. They cut the wrong parts out? I mean, come on now. JPRPH1, good to see you, my friend. Oh, hey, Mr. Stock Investor in the house says KO Coca-Cola going up to $90. Oh, wow. I haven't even looked at that. Oh, yeah, that's not financial advice. First of all, never listen to a YouTuber about finances. Second of all, don't listen to Jim Cramer. Channel surf. Ever since the film industry began, it has changed constantly. It faced bigger challenges in the past, television, and then breakup of the studio system, losing ownership of theaters, etc. It'll be okay. I'm with you, Channel Surf. I think it'll be okay, but they do need massive correction, and they need turnover. Just as you said, they need constant change. What they don't have is a change in the guard as far as creatives. We certainly need that. Daniel Alpine says it's stuff about film production is declining in Hollywood. Is what's concerning me. Well, it's not going to disappear completely, but being down 50% starts. That's happened before. You have to consider the film industry kind of went a little bit like slow during a couple of wars. Remember that. And we've had some other points where things have slowed down. And you know what? Channel Surf could probably tell you about those as well, Daniel. But thank you again for the super chat. You don't need to keep doing that, friend. I appreciate it. Bruce Newsom, hey, what's up? Says 20th century comic books were amazing in DC and Marvel. I agree. None of the modern stuff worked. It was 2013 when I started to see the change. In 2015, it had locked in. I had no poll list anymore. That's a different conversation. I'm not going to do a comic book conversation right now, but maybe someday. I'll put Evie Skyver in that category, but politics killed the relationship. I think in service of a good story, people can just put their politics aside. I do. Werewolf looks creepy, not in a good way. I hope I'm wrong, because I love my creature feature. Me too. You and I both. Yeah, and that's what you need. You need passion. They need to understand the characters. I thought Feige was that, honestly. And boy, did he disappoint. I got to be honest and straightforward about that. I really did. I was fooled. All right, let's catch up with the chat. I have no faith in the mainstream media and anyone at the head of it after the lack of coverage on the findings of the lockdown years. Pro covered it Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, I think you probably did. Thank you, Jared Markham. Cat Slave is teasing us right now. He put bacon in the pan. I love bacon. Anyway, sorry. Distracted by bacon. My first 6 comics off the revolving rack at 20 cents each were in March of 73. Best era. Oh, man. I rode my bicycle to the 7-Eleven every week when I got my allowance with my friends. I would get an icy. I think a Coca-Cola icy if it was running. I'd get the gum that I liked. And I would pull a bag of a 3-pack out of the spinning rack. I have one of those, by the way, in storage. I have a spinning rack. Cool stuff. Daniel Alpine, one last one for $5 says, last one. Is there a chance film production in Hollywood will resurface soon? I think so. It's not going to be, soon's going to be the operative word, right? I think it's not going to be soon, but I think it'll be sooner rather than later. They're going to need several industries to bounce back and recover. That might take the political tsunami that everybody is anticipating in California to occur, for that to happen. Um, and maybe and it might also take like the reality of people being punished for their misdeeds. Law and Order needs to return to California. That would help Hollywood greatly. But they don't like Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't like Law and Order anymore. That's one of the bigger problems. So, um, just like with good parenting or with God's love, sometimes the answer is no. In this case, though, I think Hollywood will end up with more productions in the future. And I think you're going to have several elements that'll be burgeoning industries again. Um, but the demand for animation is going to be constant, my friend. Um, the two biggest movies this summer are going to be Toy Story 5 and Minions and Monsters, or Monsters and Minions, or whatever. I always get that reversed, but those are going to be two of the biggest films. It's not the Blandalorian and Grey Goose. It's not going to be Supergirl. I think the only other one in the conversation this summer is Spider-Man Brand New Day. Possibly the Odyssey, but I think the Odyssey is already starting to suffer. Yeah, Grant Gustin. Yeah, he'd have been great as the Flash. Why did they go with Ezra Miller? Caveat Ty says Jim Lee is too nice and compromising. I think that's probably true. Mrs. B. Stree has rated this stream. Well, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. That was great coming over from the Green Machine. Excellent. 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 Walter Tomaszewski says everything I've been hearing here and for a while on this and other channels makes me think most everyone, including the studios, is burnt out on pop hero superhero films. Why not produce comedies? Well, they're working on it. Again, today, as part of the 6 Minute Daily, one of the news stories that we had at the beginning of the show, as you know, Walter, because you were here since the beginning, was the fact that Jonah Hill, Kristen Wiig comedy is stalled because it's unreleasable. Most comedy now struggles, I think, primarily because they're afraid to be funny. They're afraid to, walk up against the edge because they're afraid of falling. That's not how you do comedy. Comedy is a suspension of belief that runs the entire length of the field, beginning to end of whatever project you do. And thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate it. I love that, by the way. That's really cool. I appreciate that. But honestly, like you said, that's what comedy is. But I think you could do I think you could do comedies, and I think you could do historical fiction as well. There are lots of other genres we have ignored for quite some time. Think about this. National Treasure, one of those films that should be like should be coming out every 5 years or so, 3 to 5 years. Where's a good one? Where's a non-perverted one that Disney put together? Where's something good in the future? It's a good question. Oh no, Penny's with the grandkids at the doctor. Yikes! Isn't that terrible when you go to the doctor and there's a zillion of them? They all get sick at the same time. No fun. All right. Well, don't get sick, Penny. All right. Hey, the Sugar Daddy drops another 5. Culture Casino Cash saying, with how bad Supergirl turned out, and was this released, can you imagine how bad Batgirl was? Well, unreleasable. Take the tax break. Zaslav didn't want to take the hit. And this woman was apparently the last screenwriter on that project. So hand over Supergirl to her, Wonder Woman, and Teen Titans. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Thank you for the raid, by the way. Chief William Schweikert is out there. Hello, Culture Casino. Hello to you. Holy cow, the famous Kung Fu Hot Dog in the chat. Hey, handsome. Do you own any Marvel comics from the 70s and 80s? Yes, I do. They're in storage in my long boxes. I don't know how many piles of things I would have to climb through to get to them, but yeah, I just miss it. You probably didn't hear this because you may not have been following me for very long, but early on I told people the horror story. So I just bought my new house. I was a young person. It was in the 90s. I bought my very first house, and had a laundry room, and I'd thrown a bunch of things in there for storage. A lot of things. My parents had saved a lot of stuff from my childhood and threw it into a couple of boxes. And inside of one of those boxes was a box of comics. It was a very big box, heavy box. I didn't think anything of it. It wasn't in the way. Could still do laundry in the laundry room. It was set off to the side, sitting next to the water heater. Now, if you know anything about water heaters, they sometimes it used to be they'd last for 20 or 30 years, but, they start to leak, usually from the bottom, because they've been constricted and weighed down by so much sediment over time, especially if you have really hard water. So it blew out from the bottom, and cardboard is excellent at wicking water. I lost the first appearance of Thor comic and a couple of war comics that were handed down to me because of that flood. Oddly enough, some of the other comics and things that were in there survived. A couple of those were the old Disney comics. This is true. All authorized journalists should be digging through dumpsters going, nom, 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 nom. There's one with meat on it. There's so much out there, guys. So much. But look, Daniel, I'm gonna answer this question one more time, and thank you once again for all of your generosity, friend. I just hope you take solace in what I'm trying to say, okay? And I hope you continue to get help. Just one last one. Is there a chance that film production in Hollywood will resurface soon? Again, as I said before, soon the operative word. I think it's coming back. Channel surf is correct. Again, industry perspective there. I still have friends that worked in the industry. I'm just saying. Jared Markham says the obvious thing. They need to respect the fans for sure. I'm like 9 minutes behind on the chat, guys. So if I skip your chat, it's not because I didn't want to say hi to you. So I apologize. Like, for example, Read by Nature. And Ashelon? I hope I said that right. Sorry, I'm slow. They threw me off the ship. And this rowboat has a hole in it. Well, I'm sorry about that. Just be safe. And look for something to plug the hole. Hot as she. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Theliato, Minions and Monsters is going to give the Bane treatment to Supergirl. I think so. And for those of you joining from the raid on the Green Machine, thank you for popping over. I appreciate it. And Dean is correct here for $10. Thank you, Dean. Again, Dean's been around a while. For 10 says, Hollywood likes what is fashionable. If their thought leaders say we need people to be held responsible, you will see the puppets cheering on cops and tough on crime politicians. True story. But Hollywood actually needs that. It was part of the conversation this morning was let's have some accountability in Hollywood. James Gunn made one okay-ish Superman movie. He made a terrible Creature Commandos, which he prioritized over everything else, along with his Peacemaker, which is his Nepo series. His proclivities are not unknown to the general public, which is a problem. You shouldn't know that much about what they're into, and it shouldn't be put out on the screen. And then finally, Supergirl is the culmination of Terrible Idea Factory, otherwise known as Tom King, you know, in a poor adaptation of True Grit. Supergirl is a garbage film with a terrible villain and culminates in Supergirl killing the villain in the end. So yes, Dean, you are correct. If the thought leaders decide, "Hey, let's flip the script on this," and they're going to have to, or else they're going to end up with more New York City situations where you have communists in office. Got problems. Devilishly angelic. I love these names you guys over on the Green Machine have. It says, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Gotta love it. Bill Blom says, finally. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm catching up. 8 minutes behind now. We'll get there. As long as John Voight isn't in it. Well, what was the last thing Voight was in? I'm having a hard time recalling. I mean, Mission Impossible. That was the first one. That was like 20-some years ago. I haven't seen a lot of him lately. Siege Perilous has lost 20 years of comics, 40K, and all my other stuff years ago. Still miss it all. Yeah. I lost an entire moving box of movies on the last move. I don't know where they went. Somewhere between the truck that I loaded and the truck that I unloaded into the new house, I lost a whole box of DVDs and Blu-rays. How do you do that? That's what I'm terrified about when I move to Tennessee. When I build the house, move to Tennessee, what am I leaving behind? That's the thing. That's the thing I'm worried about. I got to go up north to my cabin and start clearing out all the games and game consoles and everything up there before they disappear. Terry Rose, the investor in the house, says I had 3 first edition Wolverines and others lost in a Christmas flood. My mother's basement. Yeah, same thing. Like you said, very similar, of course. Mine was definitely the water heater. I had one of these, the Amazing Spider-Man cameras, the big plastic ones. You guys are like, what are you talking about? So back in the day, cameras used to have to wind the film. You guys remember that? And I got one at a very young age, and it was a Spider-Man theme. So it was red, or I guess more orange and blue, red and blue, with a Spider-Man pattern on it. And, you know, the center of the web was the camera lens. It had a flash, actually. You could actually add a flash cube that would actually spin. And I used that camera to take pictures of friends and stuff like that right before I moved from one school to another, school district to another. And I was 3rd grade. And I'd kept that camera with me until my early 20s when it got wrecked by the flood. Crazy stuff. Chief William Schweikert. Breaking news. History repeats itself. Supergirl 1984 didn't do well at the box office, and Supergirl 2026 did even worse. Is there anyone that can make a Supergirl movie people will go see? Yes. People who care about the character and don't follow any of the Tom King garbage. So it can happen. Jumbie's in the house. What's up, Jumbie? Everybody over on the Green Machine, thank you for being here. I know it takes extra special effort. Those raids are pretty amazing. Yeah, I remember that was one of the things. So one of the early on when I was a youngster in junior high or what y'all might call middle school, um, I I was part of the journalism program, and I liked photojournalism. Of course, I liked you know the arts and stage and everything else, obviously. But I learned how to develop film, and I thought it was great. And so that I would take my free period, and I learned how to develop film, and I learned the entire process and how to blow up images and everything else. Good stuff. I really enjoyed it. Those are skills that are lost forever. I think. I mean, some people probably still remember them. You could probably like research the chemicals and everything else, and learn the skill again. But I just feel like there are a lot of skills that people don't have that they really need. Automobile repair. Everybody should have that skill. They tried to make automobile repair a subscription system. You can fight back against that. There are people now that are building simple machines. There's an entire company that's called, I believe, Just, and well, they're making analog washing machines, dryers, so on and so forth. No smart boards, no computers on board. I don't know why we need that in an appliance. I don't understand why we want Bluetooth in an appliance. Originally, the explanation was so that the service people could connect to it with their device and know what it is that's wrong. The board somewhere on the computer board would tell you, well, it's this part of the system that's failing. It's the solenoid pump or whatever, like on a dishwasher. Except that was all bologna sausage. So why can't we have things that last forever anymore? Cars used to last forever. Why don't they? You still find Model Ts running around on the road now. People had skills. You could work on your own car. You could rebuild your own carburetor. You could go for the cost of some parts and some time. We had auto shop when I was in high school. Auto, metal shop. I took auto shop, metal shop, woodworking, wood shop. Um, we don't do that anymore. We don't teach kids that anymore. We hardly teach kids music anymore. That's another reason why I do the gardening channel. I don't want people to lose that skill. You should be able to feed yourself. You should be able to grow things to feed yourself. You should be able to understand the seasons and the weather, and you should be able to deal with the outcomes, like I showed. If you go to my other channel, that garden place, that's why I started it. I'm 13 episodes in, and I showed you in the 13th episode disappointment. Most recently, the potatoes that unfortunately, obviously, very clearly got too hot too early and didn't have a chance to develop anything other than vegetative growth. The vegetative growth looked like it was doing great. And then extreme heat and sun because of a lack of shade, which again, accountability, that's my fault. Um, I didn't get any potatoes. Vegetative growth, flowering, the whole process happened. The dieback, which means harvest me. No potatoes. Scorpion, found a scorpion in the planter box, but no potatoes. Culture banned Bluetooth. Well, my whole point is, what was the point of that? GE wants to say it was a part of a fix-it situation. Okay, why didn't it make it really cheap and easy to fix anything? Because things are built overly complicated. You need 3 cycles in a washing machine. Wash, rinse, spin. Done. You need one thing that a dryer does. Hot air, dry clothes. Dumb stuff. Close the fridge door, Dave. That's right, Mr. HJ. 100%. Oh my God. No seatbelts or airbags either. I don't have a problem with seatbelts. Although I'm going to tell you, I used to sleep on the back deck of my grandparents' Lincoln Continental, looking out the back window. It was that big. Many trips to Disneyland started off incredibly early in the morning in the back of a fold-down hatchback with a bunch of kids sleeping on that folded-down hatchback. Randall's like, I hated shop. I have no talent for that stuff. Did you saw stuff on a glass table in shop? No. No. But I'm unafraid to do it now, as you can see. I still love that people are so worried about that. I'm like, I didn't hit the glass. I've been doing this for a minute. Penny says, I took a semester of auto shop and a semester of home ec. Home ec, great. Those are skills people should know. You should know how to bake bread. It's one of the cheapest things you can make and keep yourself alive. Cat Slave says, my S10 is still running. I bought it in 2001. They're great vehicles. Chevy S10s. It's like the Toyotas when they had the B-22 engines. Those things were indestructible. All metal trucks, all sheet metal. Those things ran forever. If you can still find one of those engines running, almost unbeatable. Not bad for a four-cylinder. Karen Hawkins says, I still have my late mom's Hot Point larder fridge. There you go. She bought it in 1979. Yeah. And the thing is refrigeration didn't change. What the refrigerant is changed. Hot Points and Dometics. And there's a few brands that still utilize the old the compression loop system that was in place. They never run out. Right now, across the globe, there are Dometic refrigerators that run off of propane gas. They create heat with a little flame. It's a pilot light to refrigerate stuff. Incredibly efficient. I don't mind mowing lawns. But they have a solution for you, Putin. AI-powered robotic lawnmowers now. So there's that. Hey, Star Wars Nikki in the house. Saying hi to Bonnie Gamester. Read by Nature says, I have a buddy who seasonally grows his veg to eat. Me too, which is why I have a greenhouse, which I've got to go put a roof on. I got the materials, like I said last night. I'm going to start putting the roof on it. It'll have a slightly different design. It'll also smell a little bit in there. It's a polycarbonate material I'm putting on this time. Most lawns serve no purpose and waste water, and yet you can turn that lawn into amazing gardens with flowers. By the way, flowers serve a purpose in a vegetable garden. They are incredible pest control, and they can protect your vegetable-producing plants. Just FYI. Efficient washers are actually good. Sure. Bonnie's like, I'm fairly terrified of a toaster that's smarter than me. Well, toaster needs one switch and one dial. That's it. You have radiant coils on two sides, which basically the wire heats up because you pass electricity through it. and there's resistance in that which generates heat that toasts the bread on both sides. You need a switch, a couple decent springs, and a dial to dial in just how long you want the resistive wire coils to cook your toast. The darkness of your toast. So yeah, I think I may start to buy just things. I remember riding in the back of a station wagon as a kid. Yeah, the family roadster. Now I've got National Lampoon's Vacation in my brain. Star Wars Nikki says, the sawing on the glass table was concerning to me. Well, I'm still here. My sawhorses, all four of them were occupied with other projects. I agree with you. I fixed it and stopped doing it, so you guys didn't yell at me anymore. No, there was a point in time where ammonia was used in fridges, but that got a bad reputation because I think it killed a couple of families. So, but you can use propane. You can use at a time they used ammonia. There's a lot of other things they could use for refrigerants. And again, the reason they retire refrigerants is because the patents are going to expire on the gases. Oh no, I know you said lawns, but lawns occupy land, right? And you can use the land that was the lawn. You can use the lawn by turning it into a garden. Beal Blankenship Comics, awesome, says my wife made farmer's cheese last night from milk we had, or you buy at the farmer's market. Yeah, it's pretty easy. If you have, I think it's called lectin or whatever, a little bit of that along with the churning motion, the heating and the cooling, and developing your curds and all of that. Butter is easy to do out of whole milk from a farmer's market. Very easy. Butter's crazy easy to make. Making your own butter is I got to do that on that Garden Place channel at some point. Thinking Heretic in the house for $2 says drying clothes used to be a backyard solar power. That's right. Talk about green energy. Yeah, we had clothes lines. Remember that? You remember the spinny thing that as a kid you would spin on when there weren't clothes on it, or sometimes when there were clothes on it, and you got yelled at. The four-sided clothes dryer. It's a pretty brilliant idea, though. Yeah. Good aesthetics extends life. I agree with that. Karen Hawkins has found out our local park grows cherry plums, and we can pick them. Off to get some when walking the dog and make either jam or cordial. There you go. And here's the other thing too. Like, I live in an area where citrus trees are everywhere, right? And people have been planting fruit trees in my neck of the woods for a long time. So when I get to Tennessee, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to be growing citrus and all kinds of stuff that people say, you can't grow that here. It gets too cold. I'll be like, it's going to be fine. Because if you can keep the soil alive and warm underneath the tree, which means lots of microbiological activity feeding the soil, it'll keep it warm. Wet and warm soil keeps citrus trees alive in the wintertime. So I'm going to have a bunch of trees. People are going to be like, how are you growing that? I don't know. They grow them in alpine climates. Bonnie Gamester for 5. CultureCasino Cash says, hey, do you think we will continue with the same author of SG to write more winning movies? Contract, baby? I really hope not. Young lady, I'm going to tell you, if we stuck with Ava or Anna Nogueira, that's her name, by the way, for Wonder Woman and for Teen Titans. That's the other thing. Yeah. DC is incredibly done. James Dunn should be gone. I know I used somebody else's joke. James Gunn, James Dunn. But if she writes them, doesn't mean they have to use them. They just have to pay her for. Um, so the way a lot of I don't know if it still works this way. Back in the day, um, you'd sell a script, um, or you had a script that you presented, and somebody would buy it from you, pay you for it, and they would pay you X amount of money up front. But if they made it, they'd pay you more money. I don't know if that's how this is written, and I can't remember the term, but this used to happen in Hollywood all the time. You'd buy a script, or you'd option a script, or whatever, and maybe Channel Surf can fix me up on that one. I don't remember, but yeah. Holy cow! What is up, Jaco? Hi, Culture. Great to see you. Didn't bother to watch Supergirl. You saved yourself time and money. I lost 2 hours of my life and $12. I could have lost more if I'd have gone to the fan screening on IMAX the day before. There is no way I was going to do that. No way I'm going to lose an entire Wednesday to a terrible movie. You know what? This is a good thing. Always unplug your things when you're not using them. Yeah. It's a little inconvenient for the stove, though. Anyway. But no, I do believe in vampire power and trying to prevent it, which means there are smart switches on the market which will cut off power to things when you're not using them. There. You saw both hands. I'm still here. Okay, propane is used in RVs. Well, yeah, but it's used to power the cooling loop that the Dometic refrigerators are made with. And I can't remember what the gas is in there. But Detail Devil just became a member. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining us over here. It's good to see you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. I'm still 5 minutes behind. You guys are so generous today. Now, clotheslines aren't allowed in neighborhoods. HOAs. Well, why do you think I'm moving to Tennessee? I'm going to have a ham radio tower, a movie studio, a farm on my property. Nobody's going to tell me I can't have a clothesline in my backyard or on my land. I'm going to have a farm stand. You're going to be able to come and shop for fresh fruit and veg. Karen says you still use the solar powered dryer unless it's raining. Then I have the idea to alter the outhouse to use as a dryer. Well, there you go. Ooh, I don't know if that's going to make the clothes smell particularly fresh. Oh, I've done hand washing on an actual washing board, so I understand. I'm not preaching against them. I'm like, let's just get the device to do the thing. Let's not add bells and whistles to it. That's all I'm saying. And Donna's like, that's why you don't move to an HOA. That's right. Oh man, one of my best friends just moved to Alabama, so I'm super excited. There are a bunch of my friends are like in the South or the East Coast, Southern East Coast, especially Florida and stuff. So it's going to be awesome to be within like easy driving distance to everybody. Very excited about that. Donovan's out of here. Good to see you, bud. Star Wars Nikki says, thank you for taking one for the team and watching Supergirl so we don't have to. That's my job. I saw a movie so you didn't have to. One of the very first taglines I came up with 6 years ago. Culture is going to be like Woody Harrelson in 2012. Well, maybe. I don't know. What part of Tennessee are you moving to? Culture. I want to say like close near Chattanooga. I won't be in Chattanooga exactly, but I'll be near there. So there's a Mennonite community that I want to be driving distance to, and some other things. Going to try to work with them on building some outbuildings for me, barns and such. So. Yeah, I'll let everybody know. Of course, I'll still have a P.O. box. I'll just move the existing P.O. box to Tennessee. So. What else is going on? Why are people against energy efficiency? I don't have a problem with energy efficiency. I have a front-loading washer. I just think I don't need a computer to control it. I think I just need a timer in there. A spring-wound timer. I don't need complicated things. I don't need to replace... I don't want a bunch of computers, boards, and crap like that. It makes no sense. Yeah, we as a culture are incredibly spoiled with creature comforts. Yeah, just ask all the folks from Europe who showed up here and were like, wait a minute, we were lied to about the USA. This is amazing. If you had this barbecue, if you've been to this gas station, Buc-ee's, have you ever seen this kind of air conditioning everywhere? Yeah. Ask my friends in the UK who got real toasty last week. It was so hot in the UK that Mr. H wore nothing but tank tops last week. Nate wore nothing but tank tops on his videos. I'm going to give him a hard time. Because this weekend, I almost sent a comment for one of his videos he dropped this weekend. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're wearing a shirt with sleeves. Of course, he's got the arms to show off. Ladies, if you want to see a broad-chested, very strong person, Mr. H reviews. So, but yeah, we are very spoiled. If you take away the phones and the people panic, just watch what happens. Traffic lights don't work. People don't know how to drive when that happens. Anyway, we got to get bouncing, guys. Coming up next is That Park Place. That Park Place live. You're going to want to pop over there. I don't have a redirect set. Otherwise, self-redirect to Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which starts in about 4 to 6 minutes. So those are two places I recommend going. On the green machine, you can bounce over to Midnight's Edge in the Morning. And for those of you out there interested, That Park Place live with WDW Pro. So on that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, don't forget to check out Sherry's Slammin' Clams.
Are you tired of the same old buffet food at Wang's? Have you had enough dong to last you a lifetime? Well, take just a few more steps past those single-minded restaurants and dive into Sherry's Slammin' Clam. Sherry's Slammin' Clam Shellfish Bar is truly all you can eat, unlike the 2-shrimp limit that stingy bastard Wang has. In a hurry, let Sherry stuff your box. To go! Be shellfish and take all you want from Sherry's Slammin' Clam. Located next to the 3rd Street Bolorama, Sherry's is open 6 days a week. If you are looking to slam clam, get to Sherry's today.